Personally been doing it for about 7 years now. What's up? What's up? What's up on YouTube, Facebook, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to Boxem Office Hours here. We're live this time every Thursday as a reminder. Excited to see which one of you guys wins the $1,000 that we're giving away with Boxem on the bracket challenge. I know a couple of you guys already had some of those brackets busted and all that, and yeah, that'll be super fun. We're also giving away some Boxem to the top 3 of those of you guys who did enter. It's like 400 or so that you guys playing. That'll be fun. Some good bragging rights on the line. Last year, Mr. 100 ROI himself took it home. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions as you're popping on in here. If you guys are watching on the replay, there's tons of good free courses just in terms of like learning the basics of selling on Amazon on my YouTube channel. There's like the 5-hour-long free course. And then, of course, lots of different like focused videos. One thing, if you guys are watching on my channel, if you've not seen the Boxem YouTube channel before, we've been posting some super valuable like live workshops and stuff on that channel. That's I genuinely, I think is the easiest way that beginners have ever had to source products, at least in the last 7 years since I've been a seller. It's like a new method right now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's a good place to kind of be getting after it. Plug the link here, and yeah, let me know what questions you guys have as we're popping on in here. What's up, City? You said what sourcing websites to use to find products? Yeah, if you're talking like tools wise, I'll use SellerAmp. Yeah, and then like where I buy products from will just be big retailers usually. So you know, Walgreens, Kohl's, Vitacost, iHerb, stuff like that, right? There's actually a list in the free course, the free course that's like linked in the description and stuff. I have a list of 100 websites that I source stuff from. So if you want to see like specifically where I like to buy stuff, I've sold about $4 to $5 million worth of inventory from those places that are on the free course there. If you want just like a specific starting point to know how to source, as well as looking at what other people are already having success on, is always just the best way to figure out what you might be able to sell as well. Let's see. What's up, Eddie? You said Walmart, Target, Ollie's, CVS. What else? I'm not sure what you mean, Eddie. Like you can buy products from all those places. Yeah, for sure. Sweet. What's up, Brian? I don't know what that means. But yeah, let me know what questions you guys got. What's up, Eddie? 30-day challenge. Yeah, get after it, man. Get after it. If you're talking about just like a sourcing challenge or something, yeah, get after it there. Let me know what you're talking about in terms of like the invoices and stuff. Let's see, let me get this plugged here. Yeah, see, coupon deals. Yes, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's a good question, because that's where like the best products you're going to sell on Amazon require some kind of method to create the profit, right? So like you're talking about like a coupon or something like that. So I'll use Capital One Shopping to find like coupon codes and stuff like that. Really, just like any of the coupon extensions are fine for getting some discounts on products. Usually between coupons, discounted gift cards, or like loyalty rewards programs, stuff like that, you can usually make an item profitable if it's like close to profit. So like in terms of like easy ways to source products, like looking through storefronts, starting to Google the products that other resellers are on. And then when that price shows up and, you know, SellerAmp says you can buy it for $8 max cost and it's showing up at 10, I'm going to dig a lot deeper into that, because you can almost always save, you know, 15 to 20% using just like a couple standard discounting methods, right? Versus, you know, if you look it up and it's like you need like a 60% off or something crazy, like probably not worth spending too much time on. And the other thing to think about when you're sourcing products is you only have to learn how to buy products from a specific supplier once, right? So every you know, every website has a certain combination of coupon, discounts, loyalty rewards programs that is going to be the cheapest you're ever going to be able to buy something there, and you only have to learn that once, right? So yeah, so like for example, Walmart doesn't run any coupons, but they do offer. They let you submit a sales tax exempt permit. And you can use like the Walmart credit card, that kind of thing, for a little bit of cash back, right? Not a ton of discount methods. If you look at something like Nautica clothes, there's catch-all emails, there's coupons, there's discounted gift cards, there's cash back, tons of ways to get your your costs down 20, 30, 40%, basically anytime you look at the website. Let's see, you said to not send. So if you're watching like an older video or something, BME, the rules on what you can send to Amazon have changed. So yeah, I've made it so it was like a 2-year-old video or something. So you can have a box that is 36 by 25 by 25. Now it used to be where everything had to be under 25 inches for something you're going to send in. Let's see, how do you track all the money going in and out? Track profit efficiently. So you'll just use Boxem for that, Boxem. And that's how you'll list everything on Amazon with Boxem, so that as it's selling, Boxem remembered how much you paid for it. It stores your costs. It's going to track your Amazon fees, stuff like that. Let's see. Do you advertise dynamic or fixed bids? So you don't need to do any advertising. The only reason you would need to buy advertising is if you basically put yourself on hard mode and launched a product from scratch, which is fine. Like you can launch a product from scratch, but it's not the best way to start. Not by a mile. Make your first 50, 100,000, couple $100,000 reselling things that are already in demand, and then start using those that capital to throw at a product of your own, right? Because then you can afford to lose some money and launch a product that doesn't work. Versus if you're just reselling things, you already know they're going to sell, and you already know, like, worst case, maybe the price drops and you don't make as much money as you wanted, right? That's like the worst case of reselling. With private label, like making your own product, your worst case is you buy a whole bunch of stuff from China and you work on it and you make advertising and that kind of stuff, and you're buying ads and the product doesn't sell and you're stuck with the product, right? That's just not going to happen when you're reselling. Let's see, what's up? Cool, how's it going? Let's see, and you label the box. Yeah, so when you ship products to Amazon, you will put an FBA label on it so that Amazon knows it's in the box, basically, and then you also put a UPS shipping label, so that obviously it's going out to Amazon, basically. Let's see, there's so many products to resell, you never have to do it on your own. Yeah, exactly, Tim. Like launching your own brand, the major benefit of launching your own product on Amazon is that if it goes super well, it would be a sellable asset later down the line. You're not gonna see too many reselling businesses become sellable assets unless it's like very much scaled beyond you. That's the only reason why you'd want to start your own brand, like as a new seller, and even then, like build up some reselling cash flow first. Let's see, what's profit look like? Yeah, so you want to be at like 20% gross margin, and then for me, I shoot for around like 10% net usually after I pay all of my team to source all the products, ship all the products, manage all the products, basically run the store for me. If you were someone who does a ton of the work yourself, you'd probably be closer to harvesting all the gross margin for yourself. That's kind of up to you, however you want to run your business, but that's how I like to do mine. Let's see, why do you list products on Boxem higher than the normal price? Yeah, so I always send things into Amazon at a much higher price than I actually expect them to sell at. That way, like if it checks in and the price ends up like raising in the period from when I bought it to when it showed up at the warehouse, I don't accidentally sell it for too cheap, right? So that's super smart, Sarah. Like you always want to make sure you are like, let's say it's selling for $50 right now. I want to list it at $70, $80, because I can always lower the price back down if it's still $50 when it checks in. But if it goes up, I don't want to sell it at $50 and then cost myself some profit. Let's see. Yeah, Obsidian. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, how much different is it compared to branded drop shipping? So branded drop shipping is not allowed on Amazon unless you're under like very, very specific circumstances. Like you'd have to be working with a supplier that knows that you're selling on Amazon and is prepping things and shipping things to the customers, meeting Amazon standards, which if you're doing retail drop shipping, which is what most people talk about, it is against Amazon's TOS, and you'll get banned pretty quick, to be honest. Yeah, so no PPC, no. So you don't need to buy any PPC to sell stuff that already sells on Amazon, right? Because when we're buying and selling things from big websites and brands like Stanley Cups is an example, that was like a super popular item a couple Christmases ago. That was a lot of resellers were having success on stuff like that, right? Stuff that people are already searching for on Amazon, and our only goal as resellers is to buy stuff as cheap as possible. Right, and whether that's working with wholesale suppliers or it's going to websites and using coupons and discount method or on like bulk discount, stuff like that, right? It simplifies the process of making some money on Amazon. Yeah, lots of good questions stuff. So keep the questions rolling. Appreciate you guys popping on in here on all the platforms today. And if you guys want to just like learn all the basics for free, I have a free course as well. It's 3 hours long, has some guides on like where I source products, all the checklists I look for when I'm sourcing products, stuff like that. Just kind of answers all the questions you have all in one place, and that's up in my bio on Instagram or TikTok, and then down below on YouTube and Facebook. Let's see. Some tips for new sellers in the US. You sell in the UK, but just starting in the US. Cool. So a lot of the stuff you're doing in the UK will already apply if you're like expanding into selling on the US. Just obviously the big change is that the US is the easiest market to sell on because we have by far the most customers and the most customers that are just willing to pay like crazy prices for things. So yeah, I mean, the big thing is just when you're a new Amazon seller, as fast as you can, try to learn 5 to 10 websites and learn how to make products on those websites as cheap as possible. Yeah, so like we're talking about, maybe with Ulta, the way we can make products as cheap as possible is, a buy one, get one sale plus a coupon plus some cash back, right? It's going to depend on where you're buying stuff from, on how you can get like the lowest prices that'll keep you profitable. Let's see, ungating is a pain right now. It's a new seller account. So, I mean, you can anything that lets you apply, you can get ungated to sell just with invoices from a big retailer that you bought it from, or a wholesaler, the brand directly, anything like that. Big retailer is the easy one. And then you can also get bulk auto ungated now. So that's a new thing that Boxem rolled out. So you can just go on Boxem, go to inventory, and then bulk ungate. And then you can click that button and you'll get approved to sell like 50 to 100 brands for free, by the way. No invoices, none of that stuff. If you've been selling Amazon for a while, you get a lot more than 50 to 100 brands. But that's just the default list that I'm mentioning as well. Rookie numbers, I know. Yep. For sure. Yeah, I know there's tons of people putting up crazy volume on Amazon. I forget what's the stat. How many? There's like a ton of people who sell 7 figures on Amazon, like a surprising amount. Let's see. Yeah, for sure. Breaking. Let's see. So 3 years ago, there was 60,000 people like me that sold at least $1 million on Amazon, which is pretty cool. So that's gotta have gone up since then. Yeah, seems pretty similar. Just like a quick Google search, which is that's great. Those are crazy stats. Like, started slinging stuff out of my bedroom one day, and then you're running a 7-figure business, which is pretty fun. Let's see. Can the box you send into FBA have other print on it? Yeah, you can. It can be like a lot of times the boxes I'll send into Amazon are the same boxes that I like received products in. As long as they're like decent sized boxes, you can fit close to 50 pounds in it, then go for it. What's up? PSA said, what are you selling? Anything that sells is like the short answer. I'm not picky. I'm not picky with where the profit comes from. Tactically though, I'll just buy whatever is cheap on that specific day, and that's going to change. Some days maybe I'll look at some makeup websites, and a bunch of the makeup websites are running 20% coupons or something like that, right? So then I'm going to start looking at people who already sell a bunch of makeup on Amazon, and then figure out what their best products are using SellerAmp, and then cross-reference back and say, hey, I know makeup's cheap today. Let me look at people who already sell a bunch of makeup, and that's called reverse sourcing if you guys are like super new to the process. But yeah, if you just do like a little bit of research ahead of time and figure out, what is cheap today, right? Look at 10, 20 websites that are just big major retailers, think Walgreens, Ulta, Vitacost, iHerb, stuff like that. And then go and compare that to people on Amazon who already sell those things that are cheap. That's like one of the better places to start. You can also make that process a little bit more efficient in terms of like knowing what you can actually sell. If you just go ahead and bulk auto ungate a bunch of things on Boxem, and then figure out, hey, based on all these brands that I'm auto approved to sell for free, what of those are cheap today? And then start storefront stocking off that. So like that's made the process just like so much simpler than it was like kind of when I was getting started, basically. What up? How you doing, man? What up, Still Wins? See, when you're just getting started, when you find an ASIN for a product, you notice that it doesn't mean you can sell items for that brand. So yeah, like maybe you're running into like, I'm a little confused by your question, Eric, but yeah, when you find a product on Amazon, you'll just list it under that ASIN. And then if Amazon says you're like not approved or something, you'll just get ungated. But yeah, the question's a little confusing there, man. Let's see. How many ASINs do you think someone should have to make like $10,000 in revenue? That's your goal for right now. Yeah, that's super achievable. Like that was my goal when I started selling, was to make $100 a day in profit. And I thought that was going to be like super unachievable. And that would be somewhere around like the 10K revenue mark, by the way, maybe a little bit more than 10K revenue is when you're profiting $100 a day. In terms of how many products you need to make that happen, I don't like just arbitrary, like you need this many products as a guideline, because one product could make you the $10,000 in revenue, or you could buy 1,000 things that make you the $10,000 in revenue, right? So what you more want to control is how much money you're spending on inventory. Because if you want to sell $10,000 on Amazon, what that's usually going to mean is you spend $5,000 on products. And that's just with like reselling. With people who make their own products, they have to figure out how they can find things that they can sell for triple what they're planning to buy it for or more, so that they can afford like ads and stuff. But since we don't have to buy ads, we just have to buy things for about half what we plan to sell it for. So do you think you should go wide initially to see what's working? Yeah, exactly. That's usually the best kind of philosophy, right? Because if you buy one product as a new Amazon seller, you learn one lesson, right? If you buy 10 products as a new Amazon seller, you could spend the same amount of money, but you've learned 10 lessons, right? Let's say 6 of them go really good and you can study that product and learn why. And 2 of them, the price reduces and you look at the data, like the day you bought it, and it's like, oh, I know I should have seen that. Like the seller count was increasing, or all these different things that you can learn just by testing the waters on lots of different things. Yeah, and then the way you scale the business from there, right? So test as many products as you possibly can. Based on what works, you're going to be able to restock a ton of those products when when say coupon comes back, or maybe you can just restock it whenever. And then next time you buy that product, you know how fast it sells, so you can buy a ton of that item and not like go out of stock super fast and that kind of thing. Like getting good at restocking those products is how you build consistency, rather than like always having to find the next product to sell. Let's see. What products did you start with? What's the best way of getting some brands approved? Yeah, Kat, I started selling books personally. That's how I got into selling on Amazon. That was also like 7 years ago. And like, it was like, no one was like talking about like how to sell name brands back then. So I would only sell books if you're like super limited on capital, just because it's hard to scale. Yeah, one of the easier places to start now is like auto ungated sourcing, whether you're going out to stores or doing it online. If you're like super limited on money, then books are great, because you can buy them for $1 and sell them for 10, 20, 30 bucks, right? Used books specifically is what I'm talking about. Going to thrift stores, like that's how I started. I see a couple of you guys like saying you're scared to start and stuff. Like spend $100 on products, spend $50 on used books, right? Like test the waters. You shouldn't go in and spend $100,000 on products your first month, even if you do have a ton of money to start, right? Get yourself kind of eased into it, learn those beginner mistakes as cheap as possible, and then double down and you start to understand things. Let's see. When you check ASINs on Boxem, is it actually ungating the brand, or is it just telling you what you're already ungated in? So it will apply on your behalf for all of those ASINs. So if you're already approved to sell the ASIN, it's going to show you that it's going to report that as ungated, obviously. But it would also report any of those ASINs that had applied on your behalf and automatically sold for you. So it does both, DME, yeah. Yeah, that's the Boxem bulk ungated checker for those of you guys on like other platforms and stuff. You can plug in like a huge list of brands and stuff, and it will auto apply for you and show you a big list of things that are approved on your account. Let's see. You need to put in the work before. Let's see. I mean, you need to put in the work, but it does seem more doubt than it actually is. Maybe you're just like kind of feeling like overwhelmed or something, Justin. That's totally valid. It's a lot to learn at once, right? Like that's why I'm saying like just ease yourself into the process of anything you're doing to make money online, that kind of thing, right? Just like you can go at your pace. Some people will just go all out and they believe in the vision and that kind of thing, and they'll do 10, 20K in their first month in revenue, to clarify. That'd be like a amazing first month. Other people, they buy one item, they sell $100 and they're like, awesome, I like learned the basics, right? So just whichever one you want to be. Obviously the seller who's going all out is gonna make more money, but if you want to be a little more cautious, then it makes total sense. It's your hard-earned money. Let's see. Deals are going crazy right now on top of all the other methods. Yeah, for sure. How are sales going for you, man? Let's see. No better feeling get ungated? Yes, sir. Let's see. You remember when I sold books? Yeah. Pretty much only sold books for like the first 2 years of my business until somebody kind of helped me out a little bit, like showed me that you could sell name brands and that kind of thing. It's actually Carter Maxwell, if any of you guys are like really into the Amazon social media space. Helped me out a long time ago, like showed me how to sell Nike. It's like still helping Amazon sellers as well. Let's see, you had a Section 3 dropship violation on a private label account. You can appeal that and win then. If you didn't break the rules of Amazon, they say you did, then just appeal it and win. Like, yeah, for sure. Let's see, auto-ungating specific ASINs doesn't appear to ungate the entire brand. Is that correct? So no, it doesn't ungate the whole brand. If you ever ungate a brand and then you see like still there's some other like specific, like you ungate a brand, and then there's like random products in that brand that are still gated. It could be that it was just like a really like highly in demand item that is like no one can sell, or there might be like a different version of the brand on the back end. But yeah, when you ungate an item in that brand, typically you're going to get ungated in every product in that brand. Let's see, were you working full time when you started? So I was like full time in college. So like selling on Amazon is what I started on top of like just, you know, being in college. I didn't want to have to like do a normal job. So I just started slinging stuff online, and yeah, kind of became, by the time I graduated college, it had become like the full-time income, and I was completely tuned out of college by the end because was already making like full-time money on Amazon. Just kind of finishing it up at that point. Can you scale up starting with $100? It's definitely tricky, Goat, but you can. If you go on to my YouTube channel, I actually made a video a couple days ago breaking down like how kind of the best practices to start if you have like very little money, $100, that kind of thing. Let's see, what should margins look like on 10K only doing OA? Like 20% gross margin would be pretty typical. You could be a little bit higher if you're like really good at sourcing. Let's see, what are the steps when you're scanning out a store? Go to where stuff is cheap in the store, clearance section, that kind of thing. Pull out the SellerAmp app and get after it. Yeah, for sure. Scanning products in store is not like challenging, right? Going to physical stores is only challenging because you have to do the real work of getting in the car and going to the store, right? Sourcing things online is challenging because anyone can do it from home. So it creates some like knowledge gaps, right? With retail arbitrage, you just have to hustle. With online arbitrage, you have to understand how to create discounts and how to, buy items at scale from websites and that kind of thing. Right. So it's harder to learn, much easier to scale, and yeah, it just kind of makes sense, right? When you think about it. Let's see. Do you think new sellers can still find profitable OA products? Yeah, for sure. Wouldn't be sitting on here if I didn't think so. Yeah, there's I know a couple of you guys have seen the journey on social media. But if you guys look up 0 to 10K Ryan, it's a really cool story kind of on Flips for Miles Instagram right now. He's been kind of walking through the process of taking a brand new seller from 0 to 10K, and he's on like day 45, and the brand new Amazon seller is already selling like $3,000 to $4,000 a day. Just doing exactly what I'm talking about, which is very cool to see like new sellers having a lot of success. Yeah, 0 to 10K Ryan on like Instagram and stuff. Go show him some love. He's crushing it. Let's see. Now that Boxem has the auto ungate feature, wouldn't that make it too easy for people to start selling? No, because I mean, like getting ungated to sell a brand it was never the hard part. It just made it much less time consuming, right? And so now we have previously people would be coming to me and say, hey, I can't get ungated to sell anything. And since Boxem rolled out the feature where you can ungate a ton of things, people have come to me and they're like, I'm ungated in way too many things. Like, how do I source through these opportunities? So it's just funny to see like the problems just always kind of flip on their head and stuff. Because the real like hard part of selling on Amazon is figuring out how to buy cheap items, right? Whether that's learning, a specific website and getting prices as low as possible from your favorite websites, or doing wholesale. Just because it makes it easier to get ungated does not make it free to sell on Amazon, right? It just makes those first steps a lot simpler when you use Boxem. Let's see. For sure, Mario. Yeah, digital. I saw there's been like some random stretches in the last few months where people were able to apply for like a couple hours. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah. Do you remember where you mostly applied for college scholarships? That's a ways back. I just got mine through school. Are you about to go into college, my friend. You about to be doing the same thing as me, college on the side, Amazon full time kind of thing. Let's see. How do you feel about buying out someone's inventory that sells on Amazon and then you sell it? You could just make sure that they're willing to share all of their documentation with you. And then if you were to do that, create a paper trail so that you can show a transaction where you bought all the inventory from your friend or whatever that's selling their inventory. And then you could link that to their original purchases of that inventory from legitimate suppliers. Yeah, just whenever you buy inventory, make sure you can show an entire paper trail leading all the way back to an obviously very legitimate supplier of that product. Whether that be leading back to Target.com or a distributor that's allowed to sell that product, whatever it is. Let's see. 10% profit is good. Seems quite scaled. Remember, is it tough to push past? So like the biggest thing that would let me scale at this point would literally just be bringing on more people onto my team so that we can source more products. I'm pretty happy with the scale we're at. I like the size of problems that it can create. It's like some pretty big headaches, but nothing like generationally bad if something goes wrong. So yeah, I'm pretty happy doing like 2 to 3 mil a year, right? Run the business you want to run. It pretty much runs 95% without my input now. I just kind of have to fix things occasionally and stuff like that. So I'm happy with where the business is at. But I also know people who built the type of business that I did, where you kind of have a lot of virtual assistants and stuff, like running the store for you. And then they just hired a ton of them and built a gigantic store. Right. And then I've seen they kind of had some pretty expensive headaches and yeah, just not the type of business I want to run. I like where we're at. How much you spending on inventory monthly? Anywhere from like 70, sometimes 150 on inventory. 70,000 to 150,000. That is. The higher end of that would be like Black Friday and stuff. Like last Black Friday weekend, we spent it was well over $60,000 in a weekend on inventory. But then you might also see weeks where there's just not a lot of great sales going on, and you might spend not a ton of money. For sure. When did you start housing before you hit 100K months? I started in September 2018, so it's been like 7 years or so at this point. And my first 100K month was, I think, 3 years into the business. Yeah, it would have been faster if I like knew the things I know now and like sitting on here and showing you guys now. But yeah, it took me like 3 months. The big thing that helped me go from $0 months to 100K months was number one, switching from books to selling name brand products. With books, I was selling $10,000 a month or so of used books, which is a lot of work, like sourcing that many used books. So I started using a lot of that money to buy stuff from like real stores. That got me to like 20 or 30K a month. And then from there, I started like talking to other Amazon sellers, just kind of like sharing what I was doing. They would share what I would do. They would share what they were kind of doing, like sharing product ideas with me and that kind of thing. And then went from 20 or 30K a month to 160K 6 months later, after I just kind of like got out there and started talking to other Amazon sellers. And yeah, just like sharing ideas. That was my first Q4 where like things like just kind of really made sense. And that was also my first 100K month. Let's see. Going to college, trying to get the free housing. Yeah, I feel that. Do you fulfill through Amazon? Yeah, I'll pretty much only use Amazon FBA. I use Amazon FBM for like seasonal, like limited time opportunities. Let's see. Can you sell generic brands on Amazon? No. Yeah, if you sell things that say they're generic branded, it's technically copyright infringement if you sell it. So yeah, just stick to things that are properly branded on Amazon. Meaning, just if you look at the listing, it says brand, Dove, and it's a Dove product, you're good. Most of the products are like that. Just if you ever see it says generic, just be careful. Sweet. Yeah, and lots of good questions today too. So if you guys are looking for just like a good free guide to learn all the basics, I made a 5-hour long free course on YouTube specifically. So if you just look up Fields of Profit free course, or if you go up in my bio here or down below, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, there's a super detailed free course there as well, like 3 hours of content, bunch of Google Sheets and all that kind of stuff that I use to actually run my business and such. But I'm probably gonna go ahead and wrap up here for the day. We got I gotta pop off here and watch the Razorbacks win our first March Madness game here. And I will see you guys again very soon. Thanks for popping in today.